somewhere.
You
know what? That's actually funny. I have gotten more attention. Like at first they thought, oh, like hybrid, you still need gas. No, it's fully electric.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna stay electric forever, 100%. Jim,
thanks for coming.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's great. So, first question, just tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a high school teacher,
Good.
and over the years I've been trying to teach sustainability and sustainable practices, and decided maybe it was time to live up to my own mandate, and wanted to look into some alternative options, and found you guys.
Excellent. I love it. Remember when you came?
Yeah.
Remember when you came?
Yeah, when we
it's really
first
exciting
met.
when people come in and they're like, I found the place I was looking for.
Well, yeah, you guys are the only game in town,
Yeah.
which was great. I just looked it up on Google, boom, go electric. I remember I called you a couple times and harassed you. What do you guys really have? You know, and you're like, just come down and see us.
Yeah.
And you had the BMW, the Leaf,
Yeah.
the Volt, and then the Kia,
Yeah.
the nice Kia.
And the little
souped
smart
up.
car. I like that little smart car.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I didn't like the smart car as much.
Yeah, well, it took us a while to get you in, I must say.
That's right. That's right. I was happy to come though.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
Yeah. So even before you contacted us, I know we talked a bit on the phone.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a bit about some of the concerns and questions that you had? And how that worked out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I called you guys initially. I wanted to know about mileage, about the battery.
Yeah.
And he said, come on in. So I came in. RJ
Yeah.
took me for a test drive. And I had a whole series more questions and concerns, like, you know, how would the battery recharge? Could I plug it in and leave it plugged in for days? Cold weather, heat. Like, I had no idea what was going on. And I just remember being very cautious.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as I said, you guys were the only game in town. You had all these different products. And I'm going, well, you know, which one is the best? And the most important thing I remember was the battery.
Yeah.
That really shook me up. The idea of me plugging this car in, because, you know, historically you leave a cell phone plugged in for too long and the battery's juiced,
Yeah.
right? And then you got to go and get a new battery or a new phone. And I was just plugging it in on a 110,
Yeah.
just normally.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, you know, well, how long is this going to take? Well, it's going to take quite a while. But if you get the other plug, which I ended up getting,
Yeah.
as per your recommendation,
Yeah.
it takes like 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
3 hours max,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm 100%.
Yeah.
And I was really worried about that. I remember thinking, oh man, I'm going to get stuck somewhere. But I didn't.
Well, if it's only one day, it's not long enough.
Right.
And a couple of days, like over the weekend, is good, but you want to be able to fit it into your routine a little bit. Drive around and go to work.
Totally.
You said you just plug in at work every day.
Yeah, I just
Right?
plugged in at work.
don't
I'm
have to
there for
plug in
more
at
than
home,
8
probably.
hours. I don't plug in at home anymore at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Did you talk to other people who either before or during
Yes,
Nissan
well,
for sure?
I went to Nissan. They had an old Leaf that was all beat up.
Oh yeah.
And the guy had fast charged it like every day or something. So it had about half battery life.
Oh yeah.
But it was from 2012.
Right.
So I started talking to more people, actually not from Alberta, family and friends from Ontario that had picked up some electrics. We don't have a lot of people here in Alberta, so a lot of them had really great things to say for the more recent models. Like the further you go back, you know, to
Yep.
2010, 2011, 2012, there were some issues. But the newer models, I think, what is it, 13 or anything, 14 and beyond?
13 and beyond,
13.
they made some changes, and then they made more changes in 2015 again.
Right.
This was just with one of the Nissan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and then the Kia, like, I'm getting almost 200 clicks in the spring and the summer. It was fantastic. You know, I mean, you got to baby the car. You can't lead foot it like I like to.
Yeah, I call that guilt-free pleasure though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the end of the world if you
No.
have to charge for an extra hour because you're sleeping at night anyways.
It's true.
How did it go when you got in the car, and tell us about what it was when you went to, what it was like when you brought it to school, showed your kids and other teachers.
You know
and
what?
stuff.
That's actually funny. I have gotten more attention, and it's in the black and red of like the Stamps and the Raptors. I'm a basketball coach, so
Oh.
all my basketball players are like, "Whoa, coach! Now wait a second, coach. Like that's not a big manly car. That's a little Kia." I'm like, "Guys, it's electric." And it took me at the high school. It took me like 3 separate occasions with the same classroom before they really understood what I was saying to them. Like at first they thought, "Oh, like hybrid. You still need gas." No, it's fully electric.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What? I don't get it." So these 4 boys, this one guy had just gotten a new truck, F-150, not new, but like his first car. So
Yeah.
he just got in a truck. And so we ran the numbers and we did the math. The amount of money I'm spending on my Infinity every year in gas, maintenance, oil changes, and then I compared that with the savings with the Kia,
Yeah.
and then we ran this kid's F-150 and all this stuff that he's got to pour into because it was an older car.
Yeah.
And these guys were mortified. They were laughing at him. "You sucker, you bought a shitty car." Mind my language. And so I had to bring them outside into the parking lot to show them the car, show them how it plugged in, show them the engine.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, this now mind you, this is the 3rd day, so the word is spread. I had my entire basketball team, 3 teachers, everyone had come out just to see what this was really about. No one believed me.
Huh.
No one believed me. It's not 100% electric. Hey, it's science teachers.
Yeah.
Come on out, have a look.
I wanted to ask you too, what was like, do you remember the moment when you decided, okay, I'm buying this car? Like, what was that like?
I was a little bit fearful.
Yeah.
I was worried that I was going to buy a car that in 3 to 5 years was going to be either obsolete or wouldn't be on the road anymore.
Yeah.
And I just could not wrap my head around no gas, a battery, and I'm going to plug it in and it's going to still have that same battery life, 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be able to clock all this mileage.
Yeah.
And then keeping it for the few days I had it and driving it around, plugging it in, seeing the recharge, seeing the value, right? And where I would be, okay, I would have had to spend $80 to gas up. I'm clocking my mileage. I get about 400 to 500 kilometers to my tank on my other car.
Yeah.
So I'm watching, all right, there's $80. I bought it in July, and since then, I've been driving. Anytime we go anywhere in the city, we take the electric, with the exception of today. And we're saving a ton.
Yeah.
We're saving on both our cars, not just the other car I had. We had 2.
Yeah.
So now I've eliminated one cost and then reduced the other by probably, I'd say 50%.
Right.
Because anytime we're within the city, we just take the electric.
Yeah.
Long hauls, we got to take the gas car, but I see that changing.
So Hamilton, when you think back to the time when you were looking around for an electric car, how important would you say having Go Electric be able to help you make that decision was for you?
Having Go Electric was the only reason I bought the car. There was no other options. I went to Nissan to try them. They had a used that was ancient and beat up.
Yeah.
Kia wasn't selling, BMW wasn't selling. There was no licensed companies in Alberta besides Go Electric. I looked on Google, and it wasn't because I didn't like you guys, but I thought, competition is healthy. I'm going to be able to get more information the further I look.
Yeah.
And you guys were it. You guys gave me all the info. You gave me more products to look at, so I could see the different cars without having to go to all the different dealerships, which was nice.
Yeah.
Even let me test drive all of them, which I did.
For a week.
Yeah, the Kia for a week, which then I bought. So yeah, it was imperative. I would have never bought had you guys not been here.
That's great. That's good. So where do you think you're headed next in your life? Like, okay, you got an electric car and you probably made a bit of a name for yourself or your school.
Totally.
And any other things that you think we're gonna follow on from this, or?
Well, we have one gas car left.
Yeah.
Which I'm considering either selling or driving into the ground. But our next purchase will be another electric.
Yeah.
The innovations, just the rate at which this technology is advancing and evolving is incredible.
Yeah.
The Kia I bought is now doubled when you look at the new for range.
Yeah.
It's incredible, right? So there's new models coming out all the time. I'd like to get something a bit bigger, maybe a 4x4. You can find me one of those. But I think we're going to stay electric forever, 100%. I want to get solar paneling. I want to be totally self-sufficient off-grid. and one day maybe you can give back to the grid. Who knows? But with electric, it's an option, you know, and so we're happy with that.
It's a good investment, right? You buy an
100%.
electric car. I love how the story about how you did all the math with all your kids.
Yeah, that was great. They had to see
Like
it
in
for
a math
themselves.
class, right?
Yeah, it was a grade
That's cool.
grade 11 and grade 12. So I was teaching that for the day, and they were coming in, and by the time the grade 12s were coming in at the end of the day, they were coming in and saying, "Hey, Mr. Baudner, what's this I hear about an electric car? I don't believe it." I said, "Well, let's do the math, boys." And you know, sure enough, we put it up on the boards, and the savings are, I mean, forget unfathomable. They seem unrealistic. Until you can actually put it on paper and demonstrate it,
Yeah.
these kids don't believe it.
Yeah.
And they were just shocked. I mean, as was I. The savings is great. It pays itself off. Yeah, it's a great investment. I'm really happy we did it.
Good. Thanks for coming by, bud.
Thanks a lot for having me, Jim. We'll see you soon.